You own a huge chunk of Moody's. Warren and I just talked about this. Moody's obviously made some mistakes, just as all the other ratings agency did, in misvaluing a lot of the financial instruments that were out there. Yesterday you said maybe we could have been better citizens there, because you don't usually pick up the phone and call the CEO. Weren't you saying that you wouldn't really recognize him if you saw him? And
I wouldn't. No, I've never met him.
You've never met the CEO of Moody's?
No.
How could you have been a better citizen as the largest shareholder of Moody's by speaking up if you saw that this was getting too heady?
I don't think it would have had any significant effect.
Oh, you guys speaking to the CEO wouldn't have an effect?
No, we've been on boards.
No.
We're the largest shareholders. We've expressed views on all kinds of things, and we've had very little effect, I would say.
No, we often feel a lot like Clarence Darrow when he said, "Captain of my fate, hell," he says, "I don't even pull an oar."
No, I think, we are to be tolerated by managements to some extent. I mean, they're not looking to get into public arguments or anything like that. But we didn't own Coca-Cola when they came out with new Coke. But I think if I'd called up and said, I really don't think this stuff tastes as good as the old Coke, I don't think they would have paid a lot of attention to me.
Compensation. We talk about boards and we talk about company decisions. Excessive compensation has been something that has been talked about quite a bit lately with the AIG bonus disaster. What do you feel boards aren't doing properly and the CEOs aren't doing properly that should be changed? Because we feel like regulation is coming down from Washington soon on things like bonuses, and that's a scary thing to some people. But do you just let the sheriff, let all the cowboys run wild as well?
Well, you're talking about a subject where very much is wrong, and it's very hard to fix. So we haven't got some magic potion to fix this serious problem. The imperial court has always abused its prerogatives, and if you're headquarters in a major corporation, you're part of an imperial court. Berkshire, we have a different system. The directors own a lot of stock. The directors got their stock by buying it in the open market. They don't get paid hardly anything. We like our system, but how would we get that system in the rest of America?
What's the fundamental flaw, Warren, of compensation boards?
Well, for one thing, in terms of the compensation committee, basically the CEO picks them, and he cares a whole lot more about who's on the comp committee than he cares about the audit committee. You can put me on the audit committee or on all these other committees, but the comp committee there's never been a CEO that I've seen that can't name every member that's on the comp committee and didn't really approve of them. And then, the CEO cares enormously about it. He's got all these comparisons that keep ratcheting up, and the human relations director comes in, and the human relations director works for the CEO and pulls out the supposedly appropriate comparisons, and then they bring in a consultant who's hoping to get more consulting jobs, and it's all stacked against the shareholder, and it's gone wild. Incidentally, we don't mind paying. We pay in 8 figures for certain people, and we don't mind it at all. We worked out a contract a few years ago where 2 executives split $75 million, and believe me, we got our money's worth.
So you're not cheap. I mean, people look at Warren Buffett's really frugal. You're not in that respect.
We pay a lot of money to certain people, but it's always for performance. It's always for performance.
But if here comes Washington, you hear that Citigroup is calling and asking, Charlie, can we pay out these bonuses? Is that appropriate, even though taxpayer money is certainly with Citi?
Well, I'm not familiar with all the details of that, but it may well be that some of those bonuses were appropriate.
Some of the bonuses at Citi were appropriate?
Yes. I actually feel sorry for the people that got in so deeply with derivatives that they felt they had to be guided some by the people that got them into trouble when they were trying to get out. They should have thought of that when they went in. But once they were in, if it's a big enough nest, you may need to use the guide that got you in order to get out. We wouldn't probably have done it that way ourselves. But
Phil, where do you stand on regulation? People say, capitalism's under attack. Do you agree? Do you feel that way?
Only on the very margins of exactly how regulation is done or compensation is done are people questioning capitalism. You know, the overall benefits, the basic approach, I think is very much intact. But when you have large companies in trouble, the government's going to play a role. How big should that be? You know, there's some great debates going on right now, but it doesn't change the fundamentals.
Speaking of great debate,